My digital humanities project is a digital magazine called Vinyl Zine. My name is Candace Rain Folks, and I am the Chief Executive Officer of Vinyl Zine. Vinyl Zine is a digital literary journal which seeks to publish Black literature and analyze Black literature. I am analyzing Black literature through two research lenses. One of them is called expressionism, and the other one is called escapism. So with this digital literary journal, one of the things that I seek to hope for is that expressionism and escapism can be utilized for Black mental health as a way to positively impact it. So with expressionism, it is something where Black people are intentionally utilizing artistic outlets, or i.e. expressionism, in order to cultivate artwork which is representative of their mental health, whether it is through music, through poetry, through literature, or even artistic pieces. When it comes to escapism, that is typically associated with trying to distract or detract from anything that is possibly causing harm within your social environment. And with this being catering to the African American community, that could be so many different social or systemic issues regarding the American system. And so when it comes to analyzing Black literature, analyzing Black shows, analyzing music that deals with Black relations, I really do seek to analyze how is it that this is positively or negatively impacting your Black mental health when it comes to escapism, where Black people seek to use these outlets to kind of distract from the reality of their life. And so therefore also writing reviews on those different medias, poetry, music, TV shows, or movies that deal with Black life, and analyzing those things from a Black lens and seeing, is it positive for escapism or is it negative for escapism? Same thing with expressionism. How does this impact you using this modality of art to positively or negatively impact your mental health, and just conceptualizing that along the way. So part of my literary journal or digital literary journal's intentions is just to make sure that when it comes to expressionism or this artistic outlet, that it's really guiding Black voices through artwork. And so I eventually want Vinyl Zine, or this digital humanities project, to be taught in a classroom setting. And one of the things that I am currently conducting on myself is the process of tracking your mental health through these artistic outlets. So pretty much the first phase is using journaling. So journaling just at least 3 to 4 sentences a day, which summarizes 3 to 4 sentences minimally a day, which just summarizes how is your day going, and then actually doing this each day. And then by the end of the week, rereading all of your journals and coming to a concise summary of how your week went. So taking those daily journals, conceptualizing it for that entire week, and then producing a piece of artwork which frames how that week was to you. So whether it is art, whether it's poetry, whether it is a song, or even if it's a creative piece, like a lyrical essay, something that is representative of how that week was, but in art form. And as I said, I'm currently conducting that on myself, and I eventually want this to be conducted on someone else through an IRB study, where I am taking the same process that I'm conducting on myself, the same research process, and I am able to get at least 5 to 10 people to actually see how this works for them. And just the trial and error is for myself currently, but I also want to see how this can impact someone else. And therefore, once we get into mobilizing with the publication process, we'll be able to track for myself what was good and what was not good. A journal, once everyone gets to the point of writing their journal every day, and then writing the summative piece at the end of the week, and then creating the art piece, pretty much what will happen is that when it comes to the time for the publication process of the literary journal, People will take their best writing artifacts as well as their best reading artifacts, and they will be able to have that work published. So the reading artifacts also tie into the actual research process too. So some of the research that we'll be reading, but I'll get into that in just a second. But as far as the writing artifacts, what have you written down for each day, and then the artwork that was produced. This will be able to give people perspective at the publication time of how is it that your year looked within a snapshot, and conceptualizing how was your emotions ebbing and flowing, and what was the highs and the lows, what was going on at that time, and how did this artwork and this summary or this journal pretty much correlate with each other. And so when it comes time for the submission and publication process, the students or the interns who have been in the classroom or who worked, those will be the people who are publishing with the literary journal. Those are the people who will be tracking their emotions, creating their artwork, and then for the submission and publication time, they can choose from any of those writing artifacts or pretty much weekly artwork pieces to decide to submit. And as I said, I'm currently conducting this on myself for this upcoming publication process that I'm doing for Vinyl Zine. But like I said, ultimately the summative pieces that people choose will be submitted and published to Vinyl Zine, and that will just be the end result for all of the pieces that they have collected over time, and just conceptualizing one holistic snapshot of how is it that your year looked. And they can either choose to make a summative project from it or just decide to submit their pieces. Now, as far as the reading artifacts go, we will have the same concept of what I'm reading for my own literature, which helps me to focus on Black mental health, whether through music, media such as TVs and movies, or through literature as well. This will be the same process that I will have for the reading artifacts of the interns as well as the people who are students. So pretty much what will happen is that we'll analyze a reading such as Whispers in the Night, which is a Black horror anthology, which targets Black horrors within the Black community, but it pretty much horrifies them and just adds speculative elements to them to show how these are serious incidents that are plaguing the Black community. But they utilize literature and the genre of horror to express just the extent of how it's truly plaguing us. So some of the ideas are colorism, gender inequality, the idea of motherhood, and even single motherhood. So those are just some things that are stereotypical but heightened to a horrific sense. And so that will just be part of the literature reviews, where students or interns will be able to analyze it and review them from a Black mental health lens and see, is this something that's positive, negative? How is this contributing to stereotypes, or how is it deviating, shifting my perspective of how I see these topics within the Black community? Just as far as the idea of escapism, where you want to escape into the literature, escape into these movies, escape into these TV shows to help detract from things that are happening in your real life. Is it contributing to your mental health, or is it in fact making it worse because you're seeing another lens of it or another layer of it, even within the literature, the movies, the TV shows that you don't exactly agree with? But that will just be another part of the reading artifacts that can be published within the literary journal. There are a few different digital tools that are used to create Vinyl Zine. The first one is the domain Wix. I'm using Wix as the home site for how to be able to read the reviews or pretty much the reading artifacts that the students or interns create, or even that I create. So it would just be in an article form published on the home site. Issue is another digital platform that is used, and this is the one where the digital magazine can actually be created as a flip book, and the flip book can be uploaded to the home site. Social media platforms are also used. So the social media platforms would be TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Those are for marketing purposes as well as ways to articulate book reviews or just engage with our community about certain topics that might be plaguing our music, our literature, our movies, our TV shows, and our mental health in sync with each other. But yes, those are all of the different digital tools that I will be using to pretty much construct this digital platform or this digital project.